The Holy Spirit is God. He is the third person of the Trinity. This means he is equal with God the Father and God the Son. The Bible tells us that the Holy Spirit is holy, as in Psalm 99 verse 9. He is also called the Spirit of Truth, as mentioned in John 16 verse 13. The Holy Spirit is not an impersonal force, he is a person. He has thoughts and feelings, as stated in Ephesians 4 verse 30. He can be grieved, as in Isaiah 63 verse 10. We can have a relationship with him. Jesus promised to send the Holy Spirit to his followers, as described in John 14 verses 16 to 17. He called him the Helper. The Holy Spirit is here to help us. He wants to be involved in our lives. We need the Holy Spirit. We cannot live the Christian life without him. We need his power and guidance. The Trinity is a difficult concept. It's hard to understand how God can be three persons and yet one God, but the Bible teaches this. We need to accept it by faith. Think about the sun. The sun has light, heat, and energy. These three things are distinct, but they are all part of the sun. In the same way, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are distinct, but they are all one God. The Holy Spirit is God's active presence in the world. He is involved in everything that God does. He was present at creation, as in Genesis 1 verse 2. He empowers believers to live for God, as in Acts 1 verse 8. We should worship the Holy Spirit. He is God and he deserves our praise. He is also the one who helps us to worship the Father and the Son. The Holy Spirit was active in the Old Testament. He empowered people to do God's will. He gave strength to Samson, as in Judges 14 verse 6. He gave wisdom to Solomon, as in 1 Kings 4 verse 29. The Holy Spirit also spoke through the prophets. He gave them God's message for his people. The prophets often spoke of a time when the Holy Spirit would be poured out on all people, as in Joel 2 verses 28 to 29. We see the Holy Spirit at work in the lives of many Old Testament heroes. He gave courage to Joshua, as in Joshua 1 verse 9. He helped David to defeat Goliath, as in 1 Samuel 17 verses 45 to 50. Even though the Holy Spirit was not given in the same way as he is today, he was still present and active in the Old Testament. He was preparing the world for the coming of Jesus. The Holy Spirit was involved in Jesus' life from the beginning. He came upon Mary and she became pregnant with Jesus, as in Luke 1 verse 35. The Holy Spirit empowered Jesus for ministry, as in Luke 4 verse 14. Jesus was led by the Spirit, as in Luke 4 verse 1. He relied on the Spirit's power to perform miracles, as in Matthew 12 verse 28. He taught about the Holy Spirit, as in John 14 verses 16 to 17. Before Jesus ascended to heaven, he told his disciples to wait for the Holy Spirit, as in Acts 1 verses 4 to 5. He promised that the Holy Spirit would give them power to be his witnesses, as in Acts 1 verse 8. Jesus' life shows us the importance of the Holy Spirit. We need the Holy Spirit just as much as Jesus did. He is the one who enables us to live for God. Section 5, the Holy Spirit and the early church. The Holy Spirit came upon the disciples at Pentecost, as described in Acts chapter 2 verses 1 through 4. They were filled with the Spirit and began to speak in other languages. This event marked the beginning of the church. The Holy Spirit empowered the early Christians to share the gospel boldly, as mentioned in Acts chapter 4 verse 31. The church grew rapidly because of the Spirit's power, as seen in Acts chapter 2 verse 41. The Holy Spirit gave the apostles power to perform miracles, as described in Acts chapter 3 verses 1 through 10. The Holy Spirit also gave guidance to the early church, as noted in Acts chapter 13 verse 2. He helped them to make decisions and to face persecution. The book of Acts is a testament to the power of the Holy Spirit. The same Holy Spirit who empowered the early church is available to us today. We need to ask for his power and guidance. We can live lives that are just as impactful as the early Christians. Section 6. The Holy Spirit living in us. When we believe in Jesus, the Holy Spirit comes to live inside of us, as it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 19. This is amazing. God himself comes to dwell in our hearts. The Holy Spirit changes us from the inside out. He helps us to become more like Jesus, as mentioned in 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 18. He gives us the power to resist sin, as noted in Galatians chapter 5 verse 16. The Holy Spirit also gives us spiritual gifts, as described in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7. These are special abilities that he gives us to serve him and others. We'll talk more about spiritual gifts later. Because the Holy Spirit lives in us, we are never alone. We always have someone to help us, guide us, and comfort us. Section 7, Gifts and Fruit from the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit gives each believer spiritual gifts. These are special abilities given to serve God and others. These are not for our benefit, but for the good of the church, as it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7. There are many different spiritual gifts listed in the Bible, such as in Romans chapter 12, verses 6 to 8, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 8 to 10, and Ephesians chapter 4, verses 11 to 12. Some examples include teaching, healing, prophecy, and giving. The Holy Spirit also produces fruit in our lives, as mentioned in Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 to 23. This fruit is the evidence of the Spirit's work in us. It includes love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. We should desire spiritual gifts. We should also pray that God would produce his fruit in our lives. These are both important for our spiritual growth and for the building up of the church. Section 8. Walking with the Holy Spirit. Walking with the Holy Spirit means living in obedience to him. It means being sensitive to his leading and following his promptings. This requires spending time with him. We can connect with the Holy Spirit through prayer, Bible study, and worship. As we spend time with him, we become more aware of his presence and his voice. We learn to recognize his leading in our lives. Sometimes the Holy Spirit will speak to us through a still, small voice, as mentioned in 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 12. Other times he will speak through the Bible, through other people, or through our circumstances. Walking with the Holy Spirit is a journey. It's a process of learning to trust him more and more. As we surrender to him, he will lead us in paths of righteousness and fruitfulness. Section 9. Listen to the Spirit. The Holy Spirit is always speaking. Are you listening? He desires to guide you, comfort you, and empower you. Pay attention to his voice. Don't grieve the Holy Spirit, as it says in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 30. This means don't ignore his voice or disobey his leading. When you sense him prompting you to do something, do it. The more you listen to the Holy Spirit, the more you will hear him. The more you obey him, the more you will experience his power and his peace. He longs to lead you into a deeper relationship with God.